It is a story that combines a real family history, love, and the segregated South during World War II. I'm loving all of the things that are in this book. It's amazing. The new book is called Inharmonius by Tammye Huf. It hits the bookstores this week here in February. We're lucky to have the author today for Author's Note. First of all, welcome. I'm going to hold up the cover again. Welcome to the Author's Note. You're coming to us from where?
I'm coming to you from England, from Surrey, England.
Amazing. Thank you for taking the time change. So first of all, I want to say reviewers are saying that this is the perfect book for fans of people like Kristen Hanna, because it kind of combines sweeping history and that human connection. So tell us about what inspired you to write Inharmonious.
Thanks. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. This is really great. Inharmonious is inspired by the story of my grandmother and my great uncle. My grandmother was a woman who was she lived at a time where women weren't really given a voice, and she developed a voice for women, for civil rights, at a time where before that was a thing. And my great uncle, he was a very pale-skinned Black man who often passed for white. And when World War II began and America entered World War II, when Pearl Harbor was bombed, he joined the military. But because he was so fair-skinned, he was made to join as a white man. And so he went through World War II as a newly minted white man. And then after the war, stayed white. And so this story is inspired by their experiences at that time.
It's so fascinating, and I was looking at your Facebook, and when people go to your Facebook page, they will see the real inspiration for these stories. I know that December 7th, 1941, if I look at my own ancestry, it changed the course of my grandparents' lives. It changed the course of the world, but really it's that individual story that happens. It plays out on a global scale with this book. Talk about your characters, what they're facing in Inharmonious.
Yeah, it's interesting because the entirety of America is sort of facing a crisis moment, I think, when America enters World War II, because America was sort of shoved into the war, right? We didn't choose and decide, okay, now we'll join, as with World War I. At World War II, we were bombed and we entered the war. So there was so much going on with so many people. And I think for the Black community especially, and this really comes out in my book, at that time, there was really strong segregation in America. Jim Crow laws were a thing. And so you had a lot of people who were torn in their loyalties. They wanted to support their country. They wanted to enlist. They wanted to fight for America. But at the same time, they were confronted with the knowledge that America wasn't fighting for them, that they weren't given the full protections of citizenship that other people were being given. America wasn't counting them as full citizens in so many ways, whether it be the right to vote, whether it be the right to work in certain fields or live in certain areas or go to certain schools. And so there was a real crisis of what do we do, I think, for many people, and a lot of that plays out in this book as well.
There's so much drama. It's so much to pull from when you're writing this. Do you feel like you're connecting with your family? Do you feel them speaking to you when you're writing it?
I do. It's been an interesting experience to really be able to dive deeply into this historical period. It's a period that I had to do a lot of research on. Obviously, it's not firsthand knowledge for me. And even though I did know my grandmother and my great uncle, I knew them, as older people. And they're different people by then, and they're living in a different world. And it was just so interesting for me to research into those times and then to apply that knowledge of what America was like for them onto what they were experiencing, and then things that I knew of their lives, things that I knew that they had gone through, and I could see it in a different light than with this extra added information. I think there's so much history that we that it's there, but we don't know it. I mean, we know some of our history, but there's so much history that we don't know. And that's one of the things that I really enjoyed in writing this book, was having a chance, well, having taking the opportunity to really do a deep dive into the history of this period. And there are so many things that I think that we should know, but that most of us don't.
It is a beautiful example of the tapestry that is our country, especially across this time period that is so dramatic and so much tumult. I want everyone to know that they need to go to your website so they can get the most current information. And I want to spell your name is TammyHuf.com. Okay, so it's Tammye Huf, but that's the way it's spelled. You have a great website, and of course, follow on Facebook and Instagram for the latest. You're going to want to see the pictures of who inspired these characters for the latest on her social media. Definitely go to those accounts. And here's the book. It's Inharmonius. Thank you so much for joining us today on Author's Note.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Just so nice. I love it.
Who